Hey mom and dad. So what I'm gonna do right now is just do day one. And this is, like we talked about, really basic exercises. Deep foundational exercises. A way you can make it harder is either go longer for the time or go faster for some of the movements. So what I'm gonna do for right now, for this filming sequence, is I'm gonna do the minimum of all the times. And I will also have Melissa's film, so at the end I'll have her film this workout, but the times are all written down below. Essentially everything is 30 seconds to 1 minute, except for the first exercise. And the first exercise is gonna be 1 to 2 minutes. So the first one is gonna be a bridge, and then what you wanna do is find something at your house that's squishy. We're using 2 pillows in this case. You're gonna go ahead and lay down on the ground. Squeeze those pillows in between your knees. You don't need to crush them, but just give it some tension, give it some pressure. And then we're gonna do a bridge. And what you wanna do is just raise your hips up off the ground. You don't wanna like overextend, but what you wanna do is tuck the hips, flex the butt. That is the absolute #1 thing on this exercise, is flexing your butt. So, assuming you're following along with me, I don't have my timer, so I'm gonna hold this for 1 minute, because I'm doing the minimum of everything. So if you feel like this is easy for you, then you can just do 2 minutes here. So you're gonna feel a lot in the hamstrings, the glutes, and maybe a little bit of lower back. If you start to feel it too much in your lower back, then you can come down and rest. But you ideally want to keep the hips elevated. #1 thing, just flex your butt as tight as you absolutely possibly can. Your glutes should be on fire. So mom, you had mentioned some stretching. The benefit of doing this exercise is when one muscle is shortened, the opposing muscles are lengthened. So if you're flexing, it's stretching up here. So we have about 20 seconds left. Should start to burn, it's kind of feeling like fire, but I do feel a good stretch in my hip flexors, actually quite a bit. Make sure you're just steady breathing. You don't need to follow any specific breathing. Oh, my inner thighs are starting to burn a little bit. Okay, so that's 1 minute. The next movement, it says E push-ups. That stands for eccentric push-ups. The eccentric motion is the negative motion of a movement. So, for an eccentric push-up, you can either do it on your feet or on your knees, but we're not even focusing on the push-up. It's just the push down phase. So I'll show you the 2 different versions. This is also something that if it starts to hurt your shoulder too bad, don't do it. We can just modify it and you can talk to me about it afterwards. But you always want to kind of pull your belly button into your spine, kind of like you're sucking in your stomach. And this is the eccentric push-up. So you're going to go down nice and slow. You're going to count, ideally to 5 seconds. But if that's really challenging, you just want to go as slow as you can all the way down to the ground. Then when you're on the ground, you're just going to kind of cheat your way up. So it looks like this. You're just going to kind of roll back up, and then you're right back into it. You can also go on your knees, and then a lot of people do a tabletop kind of position. We want to actually make sure that the butt stays lower. So you're going to be more angled here. And then in that eccentric push-up, nice and slow, and then you're just cheating your way up to the top. So for this exercise, it's 30 seconds to 1 minute of the eccentric motion. Another thing you can do, if that's too challenging, put a pillow underneath you, and then that just shortens the distance that you travel to go down if the knee push-ups are too challenging for you. All right? It's working your chest, shoulders, triceps. So for 30 seconds, man, I reformatted my watch so I don't have a normal timer right now. So, do you mind timing? Actually, I have this thing.
You got it?
I have this, yeah. So, for 30 seconds, we are going to do eccentric push-ups. So I'll do 15 seconds regular, 15 seconds on the knees, so you can kind of watch form. And again, I'm not even worrying about my push-up. Dad, if you want to do the push-up, you can, but let's just focus on doing the eccentric, ideally for the first little bit. Okay? Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, last 15 seconds. Keeping my belly button pulled in. Alright, the reason for keeping your belly button pulled in is when you're in the prone position, you don't want that lower back to arch or dip too much. So by pulling that belly button in, you're supporting your lower back. Okay, the next exercise is going to be one-legged bridges. Really good exercise for your butt, hamstrings, and lower back. And the way that this one works is you're going to go ahead and lay down, kind of like the first bridge. You're going to have one foot elevated, extended out, or on your opposite knee. But if this hurts your knee, then don't do it. You can extend it out. But what we're going to do is for 30 seconds, you're going to raise your hips up, but keep your hips square with your knees, hips square with your shoulders. So when you raise up, you don't want to rotate, you don't want to open up. Just try and keep everything square and keep your butt flexed. So that base leg, the one that's on the ground, all the tension is going to go right in the hamstring and the butt. It's really challenging, but you want to try and raise your hips as high as you can without letting your lower back arch too much. So I'll show you kind of how that looks. And for 30 seconds, you're going to go on one set, on one leg, 30 seconds on the other leg. So here we go. And you're just raising up and down on this one. Again, keeping your belly button pulled in. Really flex your glutes, flex the butt as much as you possibly can. And then that is another way you can do it. It also is a nice stretch while you're doing the movement. And then nice steady breathing on this one. It's deceptive, it will definitely burn. So we're going right back into the other leg, right into it. But flex the top. You can even do like a little iso at the top if you want to make it a little harder. If this is too easy for you, then you can also just stay in the iso, hold it. But again, we can move further down, move that further down the road later, the advancements. Okay, so on to the next exercise. And this is assuming you guys have your band anchored. So with a little anchor fabric piece, put it in the top of your door, close the door, so it's anchored nice and high. And this first exercise is going to be called straight arm push downs. So it's kind of like a tricep extension, except your arm is straight. Hands are going to end up down by the hips. You can just take it off and hold it.
No idea why I did that.
You can just take it off and hold it. Let's keep it filming though.
Okay. It's fixed now.
Okay. So keeping the shoulders down and back. It's really working your lats, your back, and you will feel it in your arms as well. The farther, anything with a resistance band, the farther back you are from the anchor point, the harder it's going to be. So if you want to make it easier, you just step in closer. Okay, but straight arm push downs, shoulders down and back, flex the butt, and then you're going to extend your hands all the way down by your hips, coming right back to that position. So if you can kind of get this angle here, you can take that thing off if it's easier. Okay, so shoulders down and back, hands ending up down by the hips. It's just that kind of small little movement right there. One thing, you want to make sure that shoulder doesn't protract forward. You don't want to round forward. You want to stay nice and strong. So really, if I'm holding onto your back, just take it off. Pardon the technical difficulties here. Okay. So if you were to grab me by my lats, like this part of my back, and pull down, those are the muscles that we want engaged. Thanks, Melissa. So yeah, if I'm right behind you, I'm grabbing onto your lats, pulling down, holding on your shoulders, pulling them back. You want to keep them back the entire time. So nice and strong, right in there. It's just that motion right there. So we're gonna do that for 30 seconds. Here we go. Again, if this is too easy, then you just take it up to a minute. If this is too easy as well, you can just go a little bit faster. or step farther back, because the farther back that I am, the harder that it is. That is my sweet spot right there. Stay nice and strong. The back of the shoulders. All right. Next movement is going to be lunges, which is essentially a streamlined squat. So a lunge can be very challenging if you're not used to doing it. So if you're going to be sore from anything, I expect it to be lunges. There's ways we can modify it or make it easier. Essentially, when you're doing a lunge, you're always shooting for 90 degrees. So you need to have a support system, a strong support system. So in that lunge, your tibia, your fibula, that is your support system. So 90 degrees. Make sure you drive up with your heel. So you want to kind of have the path to go from your heel all the way up so it doesn't affect your knee. This shouldn't hurt your knee, but you're going to extend on up and then right back down. Ideally, you're touching the ground. Again, it is hard. So if you need to not go down quite as low, you can do that as well. Never want the knee to pass the toe. So you never want this to happen. You always want to make sure it's 90 degrees. All right? And then again, like I said, a modification, you can hold on to something. So sometimes people hold on to poles. You can hold on to the side of your couch. But we're essentially going to just go up and down. You can use your arm to kind of take some of the pressure off. Or if like you have two things to hold on to, you can put pressure on those to kind of help. Okay, so we're going to go 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other. Big, strong glute in the back. Because like I said, when one muscle's shortened, opposing muscles lengthen. All right, so we're really trying to stretch out the front of the quad. Okay? So, 30 seconds, and here we go. On one side, shooting for 90 degrees, keeping the hips square with the shoulders. Again, if that is too hard, then don't go down quite as low, and then use something to push up onto. And my foot is still flat on the ground, but I'm emphasizing driving up with my heel. Sometimes you can also lift your toe up at the top. Is that like a reminder to make sure you're driving up with the heel? Okay, and that's 30 seconds. We go to the other side, and here we go. Didn't beep. Man, this is great exercise because not only is it working this base leg, it's stretching the back leg. So I feel actually more of a stretch than anything. But make sure staying strong in that back glute. Okay. Lunges are done. Last one is going to be tricep extensions, which is very similar to a straight arm push down. Shoulders are down and back. Upper arms are locked in place. You're hinging at the elbow, keeping the shoulders down and back. So I always like to find the seam on someone's shirt. Elbow's there, it stays there. You don't want your elbow to creep forward or back. Keep it right in that spot. That's the starting position. Kind of like T-Rex. Arms are here, ending here, and then right back to that L position. It's just that small little movement right there when you're doing a tricep extension. So, for 30 seconds, we're gonna do this. Make sure the shoulders stay strong. You don't want this to happen because when you get tired, the shoulders can protract. So you want to stay nice and strong, holding your shoulders down and back. Okay, ready? And here we go. And then on this one, to make it harder, simply step back. To make it easier, step forward. And then if this is still too easy, you can just go faster. But definitely want to have nice controlled breathing the entire time. Hands, as you can see, are ending right down by the hips. Always making sure your butt's flexed. Make sure that belly button is pulled in. You want to make sure that your ears are in line with the shoulders. Posture. Okay, so that is day one. You could run through that 3 to 5 rounds. That whole circuit ordinarily would take 8 minutes. 9 minutes if you do 2 minutes on the bridge with the pillows in between your knees. And then 3 to 5 rounds on that one. And yeah. yeah, even just that little bit, I've got a little bit of the sweat going. So that is day one.